So then we elevate from banter and pining to spicy spice.
Ooh.
Okay, grab some water. And then frantically lower the volume of your audiobook.
You have to want more for yourself because no one will fight for you the way you fight for yourself. No one will ever have as much of a stake in your life as you do.
I can't believe that.
That you wrote about a girl writing a screenplay and I wrote about a girl in the Vietnam War, but it was the same story. Yeah. Big fucking surprise.
This is BRB Crying.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to BRB Crying. I'm Arns.
And I'm Nins. And welcome to the pod.
Welcome all.
Welcome to this week of love, week of tears. I was going to say, well, when love and tears love each other very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
They make a podcast.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I really like that.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to open up my notes app and say, what is another 1,000 ways to say that this podcast is two best friends talking about things that make them cry?
Listen, we just want to keep recreating the wheel if we can.
Yeah. We are constantly looking at something that works perfectly fine and saying, well, you know what?
That could use some fixing. Yeah, that's us. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. If you're old here, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome, crybabies. This week we have a very special Valentine's Day episode.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah? Yeah.
What?
Featuring none other than our friends over at A Novel Affair Romance Bookshop over in Los Altos, California.
Shout the fuck out, A Novel Affair.
Shout the fuck out, y'all.
Can we just repeat that again? If you are in the Bay Area, there is a new shop in town called A Novel Affair, and they sell solely, explicitly, exclusively romance novels.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, literally everyone. They have been blowing up because all these people who come across it are like, wait, yeah, yes.
This is the fucking best idea I've ever heard in my entire life.
The only section I go to in the bookstore, except now it's the whole bookstore.
I know. Oh my God.
A novel idea.
Yeah, so we reached out to them because we looked up the owners of the store, Young and Julie, and we read that they were, two lifelong best friends. And they were Asian. And they were looking for a way to build community.
Sounds a little familiar. Yeah, we were like, this is us in another lifetime.
In book form.
In book form, we have to reach out. Yeah, so we are really excited about this episode. What we did was we met up with them and they told us each a book that made them cry. And we put our little academic glasses on, read those books, wrote a book report. So today we are presenting our book reports.
Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. We figured Valentine's Day, let's dive into a book that happens to be about love. There you have it.
There you have it.
Thank you so much again, Young and Julie, for collabing with us on this episode. Really excited to dive in.
Yeah. But before we do, really quick, have to plug us because we are our own #1 fans. If you haven't had a chance to rate us yet on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please go and do so. It helps so much. Tell all your friends about us. Follow us on socials at BRBcrying.podcast. Send us an email. Write us in if you have something that made you cry you want to talk about. If you have we call them our sob stories. If you have any recommendations for content that you want us to consume to also make us cry so hard that we cannot breathe, love those. Send those in.
Thanks. Alrighty.
Okay.
Let's dive right in.
Let's dive in. I think you're first today.
Ooh, I'm first today.
How do you feel about that?
You know what? I have to say, since you didn't ask how my week has been.
Oh, fuck. That's right. That's what we were. I was like, why did this feel short? That's what we were missing, huh?
Since you rudely did not ask how I've been doing.
Well, you also didn't ask how I was doing. So let's think about that.
I've just had a fucking week.
Oh.
Just a lot that I had to do. Well, no, I'm not sad about it. I'm more like weirdly proud of myself because at the start of the week, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get any of this done. And I just somehow did it. So
I love that reframing.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to go first because then I can finally cross off like my last big to do for the week, which is sit here and read a report to you.
I also, though, realize that I used to not dread, but have a little bit of anxiety around our recordings. And then I'm like, wait, I'm just reading a fucking iPad.
Yeah.
Like, this is easy.
Yeah.
We did the hard part. We wrote the story.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. But to be a woman is to perform constantly. So it's not that it's hard. It just takes some energy.
It does.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
So I'm
All right.
digging into my reserves.
Okay.
But we're good. We're excited to be here.
All right.
So
Hit me. I, in classic fashion, know absolutely nothing about this book.
if only I wrote a 5-page paper.
Only.
Told you
If only.
what this book was about.
Wow.
Okay, so as mentioned, covering a book today, and I'm actually going to be covering Young's recommendation. And just to kind of recap how she gave us this recommendation, Arns and I visited the A Novel Affair bookstore in Los Altos back in December. They held an event during one of their opening weekends. And as we were talking to Young in the store, we were kind of walking around. She was pointing at different books that she likes. And she pointed at this one book. And this book was one I actually saw making its rounds on Book Talk back in 2024. I added it to my list, never got around to it. But as fate would have it, Young pointed to this, and I was like, all right, this is my moment. This is what it's going to be. So that night, I walked out of that bookstore with the 2024 contemporary romance novel, How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kuang.
That sounds sad.
Does it? Okay.
Oh, you didn't deny. Damn. Okay.
All right. So sources, other than the book, lol. Yulin Kuang's website, you guessed it, yulinkuang.com.
Makes sense.
And an interview Yulin Kuang did with the Creative Independent. And that's it.
Love it.
I maybe read through this half a time, so just give me a second.
There's like typos everywhere. You're making up words.
You guys, just give me a fucking break, okay? So some quick context on Miss Yulin Kuang. Yulin Kuang is actually a screenwriter and director whose most notable works consist of the CW's I Ship It and Hulu's Dollface.
Oh.
Did you ever watch Dollface?
I don't think I finished it, but
I fucking loved
that
it.
was Shay Mitchell.
Correct.
And
Shay Mitchell, Kat Dennings,
Yes!
Brenda Song.
Oh my God, yes.
I love
Yes.
I literally would binge them in one day.
Yeah.
Did they go to a third season?
I don't know.
Because I
remember.
got through season 2 and then you know how it's like we release a season, see you in 2 years.
Forget it. Yeah.
Drop us a line. I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
Yeah.
Is there a third season? Because I have no ability to just Google that myself. But I loved Dollface.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, anyway.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. And she is actually also the writer of the Netflix movie People We Meet on Vacation, which was
Emily Henry?
based on the rom-com author Emily Henry's novel.
Have you watched it yet?
I haven't. I think it just came out, right? Like this week. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Tom Blythe is in it. Hi, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tom.
Anyway,
Sorry. Just like got lost in my thoughts on Tom. Anyway. Okay. I obviously want to spend a lot of time talking about the book, but I just have to say, the more I researched Yulin Kuang, the more I was like, wait, it's like really cool.
Okay.
So I just wanted to briefly share that in this interview that she did with the Creative Independent, she says that she has always had this love for writing, and somehow she just fucking knew that she was going to be a professional writer. Like, she just knew that was her life path. Law of attraction, maybe?
Yeah. A little bit of manifestation. Yeah.
So in the meantime, as she was waiting to like grow up and become an adult,
Because she was 2 years
like,
old.
oh my God, when is this? Okay. So in the meantime, as a teen, she wrote a bunch of Harry Potter and Ginny Weasley fan fiction.
Shut the fuck up.
Hello?
Yeah.
Please drop my line if you have any, like, recommendations for fanfics. But anyway, as a teenager, one of her fics made it to the top 10 list of end of year roundups for all of the fanfic for this major fucking couple. Okay? Crazy.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
And so during this interview, when asked about this time, she said, "These are just the things that I was doing to, I guess, stay in practice while I wait for becoming a professional writer."
I like wait to grow up.
It was also like chasing delight. I feel like that's what the fan fiction was, right? It was me chasing delight.
Ooh.
Like,
Girl.
what? You know what I mean? And speaking of delights, this book was definitely one of them.
Oh.
So let's get fucking into it. Obviously, spoilers as fuck, okay?
Please.
Like, just read it, please. Also, I should note that there are several trigger warnings in the story, so please check out our episode descriptions before we dive in if you have any sensitivities to that. Okay. So, how to end a love story. Main characters. We have Helen Zhang and Grant Shepard. And I don't know if you do this too, but anytime I specifically read a romance novel, immediately I'm like, okay, who is the fan cast in my head? You know what I mean? So we have Helen, beautiful Chinese American in her early 30s. I know this actress is Korean, but in my head, I picture Ho Young Chung from Squid Games.
Okay. Stunning.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And she's also got that like smolder poker face, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're scared, but you're also like so turned on.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
That's Helen. And Grant Shepard, classically handsome white dude. I kind of envision Dermo Mulroney from My Best Friend's Wedding.
I've never watched that.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, my. Okay, I'm going to pocket that for a future episode. Oh, that would be a good one. He was big during the 90s.
Okay.
So handsome. Kind of like boyish next door neighbor vibes.
Love it.
He's cute.
Okay.
You know? Okay. So yeah, that is my fan cast for these two. I'm just going to call out the elephant in the room. Asian female, white male.
What do you call that? The Oxford study?
The Oxford study.
Yeah.
Be like that.
It'd be like that.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Anyway, so this book opens up 13 years in the past. Helen is a senior in high school, and she is at her younger sister's funeral.
Oh. Okay.
So you gather from the first chapter that Helen is a first-generation Chinese American living in New Jersey with her mom, dad, and until very recently, her younger sister, Michelle. Michelle was 16 years old when she succumbed to her mental health struggles and decided to end her life by jumping in front of a moving car. And this is obviously a core event that defines the rest of Helen's life. She grapples with the guilt and the anger and regret and all the things you can imagine a sibling, an older sister, would feel. And throughout the novel, you'll get a fuller picture of Helen's mindset and these slow revelations as to what kind of person her sister Michelle was. And you learn that Michelle was unpredictable, deeply emotional, and what strict Asian parents would call, quote, difficult. She dabbled with drugs, with boys, and fighting the expectation of what a good Chinese daughter would be, aka Helen. And to further complicate this story, who was driving that random car that Michelle decided to jump in front of? Our leading man, Grant Shepard. So, at the time, Grant was Helen's classmate, but the two lived completely different high school experiences. Grant, handsome, athletic, popular. Helen, studious, artsy, non-conforming. But with Michelle's passing, these two are now forever linked to one another in this tragic way. And Grant actually shows up to the funeral in this opening chapter. Again, he's not a bad guy. Actually, he's like fucking wonderful. But it's too much for Helen and her family to bear. So he's unceremoniously kicked out of this funeral. And then Helen and Grant graduate and they never see each other again. That is until 13 years later, baby. Helen, now 31 years old, living in New York, in her fucking prime. Can I just say, your 30s is for prime time.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Okay, so my girlie is now the internationally best-selling author of a young adult series called The Ivy Papers. Just fucking, it's easy to just be like the best-selling author of a series. And her novels have just been picked up to be adapted into a TV show. Easy. Every writer's fucking dream. She's made it, okay? So she packs up her life on the East Coast and heads to LA to join the team of screenwriters for this show. And what do you know? Who else is on the team?
Oh my God.
It's Grant Shepard, by the way, if that wasn't clear.
I wasn't sure, yeah.
It's Grant Shepard. And while Helen has built an illustrious career as this best-selling author, Grant's made a name for himself in Hollywood as a screenwriter. You learn that the moment he could, he dipped the fuck out of New Jersey. Love you, New Jersey. Even though Grant dipped the fuck out of there as soon as he could. So the novel actually switches perspectives. So you do get to learn Grant's inner thoughts and headspace as well. And you find that ever since Michelle's passing, Grant suffers from panic attacks and anxiety. He carries the weight of the guilt on his shoulders every single day. I should also say, he did not even know who Michelle was. It was completely random. She was like 2 grades below him, big public high school. And even then, the panic attacks kind of rule his world over the next 13 years. Difficult and disruptive and not wanting to be a burden, Grant struggles to find a partner who could handle all that emotional baggage that he comes with. So that's the setup. 2 beautiful people with a complicated past, now forced to spend hours in a room together, creating art. Gee, I wonder how this will go. I should also just describe Helen and her personality. And so even without this really awkward situation, Helen has always been kind of standoffish. Doesn't have a lot of close friends, very complicated relationship with her own parents, and almost unfriendly, but in the way that more so screams insecurity rather than meanness. She is, however, straight up mean to Grant in the beginning of this working together. Like her realizing that he's on the team.
And she knows who he is.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of fuck offs. There's a lot of angrily telling him to quit. There's just too much painful history that she does not have the capacity to face. But it's a good thing Grant's kind of a masochist and secretly likes when she's mean to him.
Ooh. It is what it is.
But if he doesn't like it, it's not real. Okay? So sexual tension in the air. Okay? I won't elaborate too much on this next part because this is the fucking bread and butter of a rom-com. You know? This is where it's really just fun. And that's why I, again, just want you to read this. We got tropes. We got banter. We got pining. I'll just say that things escalate when the two go home back to New Jersey over the holidays and they actually start to spend more one-on-one time together. And after this trip, the attraction can no longer be ignored. So then we elevate from banter and pining to spicy spice.
Ooh.
Okay?
All right.
Grab some water.
Actually, water makes spice worse.
Does it?
Yes.
Grab some milk. And then frantically lower the volume of your audiobook at this point in the story and then like look around to see if anyone can like hear what you're listening to.
Better yet, listen at home
You know what I mean?
when no one's around.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, they start hooking up. But as we all know, getting physical with someone by no means leads to intimacy. You think my girl is ready for vulnerability? You think Helen can handle that? More like hell no.
Wow. you got me.
So they agree to this friends with benefits arrangement.
Trope.
With the understanding that it will all come to an end as soon as they finish the script of the show. And as the reader, you're like, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like, yeah, clean, easy. Then, over the next few months, Helen and Grant have this situationship, okay? But here's the thing. Can you really simply call it just a situationship if neither party is dating anyone else? They spend every spare moment, weekend, and evening together, and then even go so far as to unpack their most painful shared memories. One day, following one of Grant's panic attacks, Helen and Grant sit down and tell each other their versions of that dreadful night.
Oh shit, we are going there.
Grant unmasks the weight of his guilt and regret and sorrow that stayed with him throughout all these years, and Helen reveals the anger and hurt that continues to plague her in the perpetual wake of her mourning. But looking at Grant, Helen can't help but comfort this complicated stranger villain turned lover friend. Quote, "I think I forgave you long before I ever forgave her," she murmurs finally. "I still haven't really. I don't know if I ever will. Anyway, it's not your fault. I don't blame you for any of it, Grant Shepherd." She listens to his heartbeat slow down as she draws slow circles on his chest. She thinks he might be drifting off to sleep when he mumbles, "I'm sorry I need this so much. I wish I didn't." "Don't be sorry," she thinks, a little desperately. "I want you to need me." When she looks up, his eyes are closed. She isn't sure why her heart feels like it's breaking when it hasn't been working properly in years anyway. When two people share these tender and poignant moments with one another, when they bare their souls in all of its rawest, most ugly parts, falling in love is unavoidable. In the days and months after this night, Grant admits he's all in. Quote, "It was a slow fall, but a pretty permanent crash, Helen. I'm in love with you." And see, this is where my gripes with romance novels happen. Because if it were me, I'd be like, bet.
Done.
Yay, you know? All right.
Yay.
Yay. But it's not me. It's Helen.
It's Helen.
So, of course, Helen is outraged.
Why?
What? You can't love me?
Girl.
We had a deal, you know?
Oh,
all that shit.
please.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
At this point in the story, as frustrated as we are, we all know Helen loves him back. But we also know that this terrifies her. She pushes him away because in the moment, it's so much easier than letting him in. There's more plot. Lots of plot. Lots of family conflict as well. And I just unfortunately didn't have the bandwidth to cover it today. But all of this pushes Helen to the brink. And she breaks up with Grant because it's too much for her to handle. And in the wake of their breakup, both of them are just so lost. Grant is so in love with her and just doesn't know what to do. And Helen feels like the whole world is tumbling down on her. But that's the funny thing about being at rock bottom. That's usually when people start to climb back up. Or in Helen's case, start writing again. Ever since the success of her young adult series, Helen kind of loses her love and passion for storytelling and writing. Major writer's block. But now, with every emotion flooding through her, all of a sudden, all of these words start to pour out of her. And these words come out in the form of love letters. But they're not for Grant. They're for Michelle. Quote, "She's written of old gossip and future plans, cataloged childhood memories and collected lessons learned into a rambling one-way correspondence to be edited into something resembling a book later. But she doesn't have an ending." That is, until now, on the night of her show's premiere, where she comes back from the celebration alone because Grant was too heartbroken to even attend. This is where the ugly crying happens, okay? Because you as the reader read her final letter in this draft book. And I know I've already pleaded with everyone to just read this book, but I swear to God, this letter alone, the whole point of this book, it's gorgeously written. It's long though, so I won't share all of it, but it's too beautiful not to share this excerpt. So in her letter for Michelle, she writes, "I'm sorry for all the ways I hurt you while you were living, and I wish you could be sorry for all the ways you've hurt me since you died. If I had a second chance, I would do so many things differently, but I couldn't get behind the steering wheel of your life that night and force you to stay, and I've been mad at you for so long without it changing a damn thing. That suited me fine up until now. You're the demon I don't want to exercise. If I heal and move on, I'm worried I'll finally lose you for good. But I want to be healthy and I want to be happy, though I've never trusted happiness. I worry happily ever afters don't exist for people like us. So here's the ending I'll try to write instead. The kind of ending where I don't have to leave you behind even as I move forward, because you're always a part of me, even if that part feels like a hole in my heart. Loving can hurt, and I want to do it anyway. The kind of ending where someone else sees the best and worst of me and loves me back. We'd be happy together, we'd be sad together, we'd be everything together. And when it's all over and we've reached another ending, my ashes would be scattered over the tree that grows from his body, because till death do us part wouldn't be enough, because I'd need more than one brief eternity with him. When we've been hurt and we've experienced loss and carry this heavy, heavy shame, there's a part of us that feels irreparable. How can we possibly love someone when we feel so broken inside? How can we let love in when we can't even love ourselves? We have to learn to love ourselves first. And sometimes that can be a really big ask, seemingly impossible when the self-loathing and the anger and the sadness is so suffocating. So let's take it one step at a time. First, let's give ourselves time. Let's give ourselves space. And then after a while, maybe we can allow ourselves to feel just a tinge of joy, maybe even chase some delight. And after that, who knows? Maybe we'll want to find connection and purpose. Maybe if we just keep going down this path, loving ourselves won't feel like an impossible task. It'll just feel like something we've been practicing all along. With Grant in Helen's orbit, she doesn't even realize that this is what she's been doing all along. Gathering the courage to forgive her sister and finally forgive herself. And isn't forgiveness the ultimate act of love? So I won't spoil the ending, but if you've been listening, you can guess what happens after Helen learns to heal herself, love herself. And this is a romance novel after all, so perhaps you already know how to end this love story.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't stop smiling while you were talking because I may have copied and pasted actual fucking lines from your story. I can't fucking make this up. I can't make this up.
There you have it.
There you have
That's
it.
so funny. So even Young and Julie
Yes.
were sending us the same story.
Yeah, same shit. Oh, I want to read that book.
Yeah, it's really cute. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you think you're going into it for a classic love story.
Yeah.
But it's about loving yourself first.
Surprise.
Yeah.
I can imagine ugly crying at that letter, you know? I can already.
When you realize, like, oh, that's what she's been fucking writing.
Yeah.
Because, like, she'll, like...
I see.
But you don't know what she's writing.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, you're like,
no.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Helen.
What happened to the smut? Like...
I want the smut. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, actually... I thought you would have more to say. Well, I was going to wait until I actually shared Young's.
Oh, no. Yeah. Why did you share that? Yeah.
So as Arns and I were prepping to put our stories together, we did ask Young and Julie to send us a little blurb and explain why they chose to recommend these books to us. So this is what Young had to say. How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kuang is a deeply emotional, quietly powerful romance that stayed with me long after the last page. One that is equal parts love story and journey toward self-acceptance and self-love. As the screenwriter behind People We Meet on Vacation, Kuang brings the same intimacy and emotional nuance here, but with a deeply personal lens. I saw so much of myself in Helen, especially as someone from an Asian immigrant family navigating identity, self-worth, and the lifelong need to feel enough. Her internal struggles felt honest and familiar, capturing the ache of wanting to be seen without knowing how to ask for it. And then there's Grant. The way he loves Helen, steadily, gently, and without conditions, was everything. He doesn't try to change her. He simply sees her, accepts her, and loves her as she is. Their connection is shaped by shared trauma and a complicated past, creating a bond that feels earned and deeply rooted in understanding rather than perfection. This book is for anyone who believes that love isn't just about finding the right person, but also about learning to choose yourself and realizing that sometimes being truly loved starts with allowing yourself to be seen.
Oh.
I know.
Oh. Okay.
Young, you should probably open a bookstore because that was a really good recommendation. Yeah. I guess just to reiterate what I said before, like I know that this is a romance novel, and I think part of me was really like excited to see these kind of glimpses into this relationship, you know? But with the utmost respect to the story, that wasn't the part that intrigued me the most. When you have love in your life, it can be the most perfect, wholesome, healing love. But that doesn't matter if you're not ready to receive it.
Yeah.
You have to be ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And that in itself is the best part of the story.
That's such a lesson that I feel like a younger me would. It took me a long time to understand that.
Yeah.
I think that just comes with, I don't want to say age, but just experiencing life, experiencing partnership, right? How much your capacity to love has to do with your capacity to love yourself.
Yeah. I know what you mean by like not wanting to say it's necessarily related to age.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more about understanding who you are.
Yeah. Yes.
And making peace with that. Which in itself is a form of loving yourself, right?
Oh, 100%.
The more you understand yourself, the more you can love yourself.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to end a love story. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Yulin Kuang. Thank you, Young.
Yes, yes.
We hope that this unpaid ad for this novel has convinced you to read it.
All right. Today, I'm going to take us back in time. It is Valentine's Day. So we're going to take it back to the summer of love.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this?
Hippies?
Hippies. 1967. Counterculture.
6'7". I had to do it. Oh, God. I had to do it. Sorry.
That's going to age really well for this podcast episode.
You know what? You would think, but Fetty Wap is now back. 1738.
Okay. All right. Anyway, God. The Summer of Love took place in San Francisco. You're right. Hippies, counterculture, drugs, spirituality, radicalism, anti-consumerism, all of that. But at the center of this movement were the anti-war protests. Because what this all was really a reaction to was the Vietnam War. So growing up, I don't really remember learning too much about this. I feel like our history books loved to champion the U.S. as the benevolent entity who helped lesser countries, colonization, etc. You know, never did any wrong. Like, do you remember reading much of anything about?
I remember the things they carried.
In sophomore year high school. That's, yeah.
And that movie with Charlie Sheen. Like a soldier movie.
Yeah, so I mean, because if you think about it, even then, like you just named two things. Whereas given like the atrocities, like, but because we didn't win this war, because we were, you know, all that shit, it was like really, really glossed over for me. A lot of what I learned had to do with my self-education. And so today I'm going to continue that little self-education tour with a book called The Women by Kristin Hannah.
Fucking Kristin Hannah,
author of Nightingale, if anyone is familiar.
And The Great Alone.
If you're listening to this and you're wondering how on earth the Vietnam War is related to Valentine's Day and love, you can blame Julie, co-founder of A Novel Affair romance bookshop in Los Altos. Because when we asked her, what's a book that made you cry? She was like, The Women by Kristin Hannah. Never mind that romance is not in the genre list here. It literally says historical fiction / war story. That is what we're covering today, everyone. But you know what? Everything comes down to love.
Everything.
So let's fucking do it. I actually wanted to start with Julie's quote, just because I think it's a good way to start off our context. This book made me cry because it had everything. Trauma, grief, but also resilience, love, and friendship. The pain felt real and the losses hit hard. But what really got me were the relationships. The way the characters lean on each other through impossible moments makes the story both heartbreaking and meaningful, and that emotional mix is what made it so great. I also want to say that Julie was totally like, yeah, when I read a book, I don't remember anything. It literally leaves my mind, and all I remember is the emotions.
Which I love. But it was like so funny the way she said it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, she was like so deadpan. Like, yeah, made me cry. It's like, sick, dude. So The Women is a 2024 historical fiction novel by Kristin Hannah. Also, blanket spoiler alert, I'm going to just read the whole fucking book, basically. That's what's happening today.
Okay.
I'm not even going to try and pretend. So if you don't like that, stop and read the book. Come back in 3 weeks after your Libby loan has expired.
Read all 1,000 plus pages.
Yes.
And then come back.
Yes. I appreciate you giving that blanket content warning at the beginning, because very much so for this novel as well. All right. So I'm going to paint the scene. Opening scene, you know?
Let's go.
Let's go. It's 1966, and Frankie McGrath is a 20-year-old California girlie, currently in nursing school. She's from Coronado Island.
Did you go to USF?
No. Coronado Island is a fancy pants little island off the coast of San Diego. Big money, old money, huge state, fancy parties. And in this opening scene, her brother Finley is having his going away party hosted by their parents because her older brother is about to be shipped off to war. Not drafted against his will, willingly joining, because in the McGrath family, the only people worth celebrating are war heroes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So Finley is Frankie's best friend. They grew up together. For obvious reasons, Frankie's upset that Finley's leaving. So she steals away from the party, finds herself in her father's office. She's gazing at her father's military wall, which is medals, framed photos of her grandfathers saluting in their war uniforms. And then in walks Rye Walsh, her brother's best friend from Naval Academy. Smoking hot, of course.
Yeah. Fan cast.
Ooh, I don't do that.
Oh, really?
I try really hard not to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I try hard not to like picture someone specific, because I want to, in the future, when I know that whatever shit is adapted into something, I want to not be like, that wasn't right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But if I had to, I don't know.
Okay. In my head, I'm picturing James Marsden from The Notebook.
No.
No?
No. I can't give you an alternative. Just no.
It's yes in my head.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I think because his name is Rye, I was imagining like a redhead. I know that's not true. Even Rye is also not red. I don't know. I cannot explain. But anyway, you know, Frankie's smitten and she's kind of like, oh my God.
Okay.
They're talking about the military wall. I want to read a little excerpt here. How come there are no pictures of women up here except for wedding pictures? Rye asked. It's a hero's wall to honor the sacrifices our family has made in service of the country. He lit a cigarette. Women can be heroes. Frankie laughed. What's funny about that? She turned to him, wiped the tears from her eyes. Well, you don't mean... Yeah, he said, looking down at her. She couldn't remember a man ever looking at her in such a way so intensely. It made her catch her breath. I mean it, Frankie. It's 1966. The whole world is changing. So thus begins Frankie's story. She watches her brother get shipped off to Vietnam. She becomes an RN, lands a new gig at a hospital, but it's a fucking joke. Literally, all they let her do is change the fucking bedpans. She's like, I went to school for this shit. Oh. And then one day she meets this patient who's a vet, and he's talking about his traumatic experience in Vietnam. And he says, a nurse at the 12th evac hospital got me through it. And Frankie's like, wait, nurses in Vietnam? And then she remembers those words that Rye Walsh spoke to her, that women can be heroes too. Mm. And that is the moment Frankie McGrath decides to join the war. After officially signing her name on the dotted line, she comes home expecting this huge celebration from her parents, congratulations in order, telling her how proud they are of her. She can be on the military wall now. But they're fucking horrified. They're like, take that back. And she's like, I can't. I signed my fucking name. And of course, in the midst of her parents reeling from the shock of her being shipped off to war, 2 naval officers show up at their door. And Frankie knows exactly what that means.
No.
Her brother Finley is dead.
Fuck.
But it's too late to take anything back. So she goes. Yeah, I know. It's fun. This is a really heavy novel. If this,
I mean, it's Kristin Hannah.
It is Kristin Hannah. So obviously she doesn't know what to expect in Vietnam. But it isn't this, because on the fucking jet ride over, they're already being shot at. Outside the window, orange, red, explosions. And when they finally land safely, it's fucking blazing hot. It smells of, quote, shit and fish. She's just trying not to throw up. And her living quarters are super, super cramped. And, you know, she has her white nursing outfit and stuff. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing with that? Like, that's not what you're going to wear here.
Yeah.
She drinks water from the sink. Within hours, straight fucking diarrhea.
Oh my God. Yeah. Brave.
Really, really the bravest thing she does in this whole novel.
Can I redact? Dumb.
God. All right. So Frankie's immediately thrown into the fire. These people are tossing around a million acronyms. You know how it is. Like when you start a new job, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
That's what's happening, except people are dying everywhere around her. The nurse in charge of triage is like screaming at her to like get out of the way. And it's just like bloodied men being carried in on stretchers. And she's in fucking shock. She's like, what the fuck is this? It's like she didn't really know what she was walking into. But here to carry her through it all are her two new bunkmates, Ethel and Barb. Oh. They show Frankie the ropes. She gets settled in. She has her first set of long shifts where she sees the most gruesome wounds, men dying left and right. She can't even sleep at night because it's like this reel playing like over and over again in her head. And so night after night, Ethel and Barb gently lead her over to the Officers Club, or O Club, where all the officers drink their sorrows away and try to maintain some semblance of normalcy. It's here where she has her first romantic encounter with a handsome doctor named Jamie. They're all partying, explosions go off, she's fucking freaking out, obviously, but everyone is just acting like it's normal. So I want to read a small excerpt here. Just like that, the party was back in full swing, with people smoking and drinking and laughing as if they hadn't just been bombed. Jamie smiled. How about a shot of whiskey, California girl? Frankie had trouble finding her voice. I don't know. She'd turned 21 a few months before, but she'd never drunk hard alcohol. He leaned close. It'll stop the trembling. Frankie doubted that. Will it? He gave her a sad look. For tonight it will. So during Frankie's tour in Vietnam, we watched her blossom into this incredible nurse. She's literally performing the most complex surgeries, like fucking doing tracheotomies and stuff, because these men, but really they're boys is what they are, they're dying and there just aren't enough doctors on hand. So she's finding her flow, sharpening her skills, and she's realizing that saving these men, or if she can't save them, then at least being the last person they see before they pass, is her calling. Of course, amidst Frankie's self-discovery, we're also watching her discover how fucked up this war is. She's exchanging letters with her mom, which is how she learns that over in the States, this summer of love has given way to more unrest, riots, protests. Americans are realizing that the president is painting this false picture of the U.S. winning the war. Because if they're winning the war, then why do we keep sending men over there to die? And they're right, because at Frankie's evac hospital alone, there are hordes of men being dropped off every single day, broken, bloodied, battered. And the casualties that she's seeing on the ground are so much higher than what's being reported. And on top of this, the U.S. is bombing innocent villagers. They literally have an entire ward at the hospital just for the Vietnamese villagers who are hurt. It's fucking heartbreaking. But again, through it all, Frankie has Ethel and Barb. By this point, they're best friends. I mean, when you've seen the worst of it with someone, you cross this threshold and you can never go back.
Right.
So I want to read a little excerpt here. In this scene, they've gone on this rare little excursion to Saigon. They've somehow procured a boat, and now they're attempting to go water skiing on this muddy brown river. And she's like, are there going to be dead bodies? You know, like she's, oh my God, like I can't drink this water.
Yeah.
And this is the excerpt. She saw the people on the boat clapping for her. She held herself in the calmer water between the white V of the wake, her skis thumping and falling on the water. Wind lifted her hair and the hot sun shone down on her. And for a beautiful, heart-stopping moment, she was just a girl at a beach party with her friends. It turns out that in these surreal moments, sipping on drinks at this dingy officers' club, lounging on a rare day off beneath a palm tree, taking a helicopter to Saigon to go boating in a river, Frankie realizes that she has quite impossibly found a sense of belonging here. This is now her home. But of course, soon after, her friend Ethel's tour ends, and Frankie is crushed, and then it's Barb's turn to go home, and then it's Frankie's turn to go home. But despite what a shit show all of this has been, Frankie just can't see herself leaving. She's so valued here for her skills. She's the reason why some of these soldiers get to go home. Or at the very least, she has the privilege of being the last beautiful thing they see before they die. So she signs up for one more tour, one more year in Vietnam. In a letter to her mother, Frankie writes, "It sounds crazy and absurd, but I have found my calling here in Vietnam. I love what I do, and I make a real difference. As you know, the war is heating up. More troops arrive every day, and a lot of them end up wounded. We do our best to save them, and if they can't be saved, like Finley, I sit with them and hold their hands and let them know they aren't alone. I write letters to their mothers, their sisters, their wives. Can you imagine what such a letter would have meant to us? So, I'm not coming home next month. I have signed up for another 1-year tour of duty. I simply can't leave my post when the men need me. We don't have enough experienced staff here." There, I can hear you screaming. If you knew me now, you'd understand. I'm a combat nurse. Now, during this time, Frankie's a 21-year-old girl, so of course she falls in love. First with the doctor, Jamie, but then his helicopter gets tragically shot down. And after that horrifying incident, she realizes how short life is, and she's determined to live with no more regrets. So then, she has a run-in with none other than Rye Walsh, her brother's smoking hot best friend, the first person to plant the seed in her mind that women can be heroes. Very quickly, they fall in love, but then pretty soon, her second tour comes to an end, and she decides it's time to head back home, with Rye promising to be with her as soon as his tour ends. As awful as the war is, nothing could prepare Frankie, though, for how much worse it would be coming home. Because upon landing at home, Frankie discovers that she is a social pariah. The American public has now fully turned against the war, and they are disgusted by veterans. I did not know this piece.
Oh my God.
From the moment she steps off the plane, they're spitting at her. They're calling her a baby killer. And there's this really heartbreaking scene in the first half of the book where she's in Vietnam, where there's this whole napalm incident, and this baby has like its ribs showing, and it's the fucking worst. And she's holding this baby as it's dying. And so for them to call her a baby killer, like she's just so confused. None of the taxis will stop for her. Her dad won't even look at her. She comes home after 2 years in Vietnam, and her dad is like, "Oh, like, what are you doing here?" Turns out he lied to the entirety of their social circle. He and his wife told them that their daughter is in Florence studying abroad. Because everyone's like, "Oh, how was Europe?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? I was in Vietnam." And they were like, "Ha ha ha. No, you weren't. There's no women in Vietnam." And she's like, "What are you talking about? I was literally there." They were like, "No, there are no women there." It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. They're all insisting there were no women in Vietnam. And then she tries to get a job as a nurse, because everyone's like, you gotta like do something normal, find something else to live for. But once again, she's like relegated to doing the dumbest tasks, because women here in this hospital system in the late 60s are not valued for their skills. So this was a woman who was in the OR performing surgeries for 12 hours on her feet with nothing but a fucking headlamp on because the power went out and they're being bombed. And now she's like checking vitals, running IVs. It's infuriating. And then she has these nightmares. She wakes up on the ground, writhing. Out in public, she finds herself like screaming and running for cover every time she hears like a plane pass overhead. But when she tries to find resources for veterans, you know, she goes to the VA, they all turn her away, saying that they don't believe her. There were no women in Vietnam, they say. And if they do believe her, they do believe she was there, they still turn her away because according to them, if you didn't see combat, you weren't really in the war. It's so heartbreaking.
I'm angry.
Honestly, I was like, I thought that the book was going to be the whole thing taking place in not like the first half and then like we get home and it's worse, you know?
Yeah.
And on top of this, because Frankie needs more trauma, she finds out that shortly after she left, Rai Walsh, love of her life, shot down in a helicopter.
Got it.
And so she sinks deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole. And then when she can't bear to be amongst her parents who won't even talk about her experience, but, you know, she finds herself once again turning to Ethel and Barb. She ends up moving to Ethel's dad's farm in Virginia, where the three of them remodel an old bunkhouse. Barb gets Frankie to protest with her, and the three women try and rebuild their lives together. And meanwhile, suppressing these deep, dark memories of the war. They're just trying to look ahead and move on.
Did they also experience similar?
They don't talk about it. That's just how it is. But soon enough, after Frankie's been out there for a while, her mom has health complications. She has to go back home to San Diego. And then she finds herself in a relationship. She had met this guy at a protest while she's all the way out on the East Coast.
Okay.
Turns out he's also from Coronado Island, this nice psychiatrist named Henry. And so they kind of just fall into this relationship. But she's not really in love with him. She's trying to. And then when she gets pregnant, she convinces herself she can love him. They can build a life together. But then she miscarries. And then there's no more pretending. So she breaks it off. And then, around the same time, this is when the war is ending now. And, you know, she's been doing all this work helping with the prisoners of war, trying to like get all these men back home. She didn't even realize like all this was, there's all these women who are trying to get like their fathers, their husbands back home. So she's helping them with this war effort. She finds out that her dude, Rai Walsh, actually was still alive.
Oh.
Prisoner of war this whole time.
Right.
But it is really messy and complicated because back when they're in Vietnam, he said, I'm going to break off my engagement. I don't love her.
Oh.
Turns out he lied because she's there to greet him when he comes off the plane. And he goes straight to a woman and a daughter.
Oh.
So Frankie, as messy as it is, they still kind of find themselves together.
Oh.
And then, you know, he does that thing where he's like, don't worry. I'm going to break it off. I'm going to break it off. And you know how that ends, right? You know how that ends. It ends with Frankie being called to a room to a woman who just delivered a baby.
Oh.
And this is fucking, spoiler alert to the fucking max. He had another baby. This whole time he was like, I'm going to leave her. Fucking his wife was pregnant, dude. Yeah, insane. Not the love story that I was getting into with Rai.
God.
Yeah, I didn't write that down. I wasn't even going to get into it, but it was just so unbelievable.
I'm just like floored at how Kristin Hannah was like, we're going to do a ton of research. We're going to make this like a horrific, emotionally awful experience. And then we're going to throw in fucking tea.
Yeah. We're going to make it really fucking dramatic too. Yeah. So as we can imagine, Frankie, if she was at rock bottom before, she wasn't, because this is rock bottom.
Did I also write that line in my story?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She gets addicted to her mom's pills, completely fucks up at her job, loses her nursing license.
She loses her nursing license?
Yes. Yeah. The most tragic part of this. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
No. Yeah, it is. It is fucked up. In this rock bottom moment, she's at home and she thinks she hears her brother Finley beckoning her to the ocean. So she follows him out there. She lives right on the coast on this island. And I want to read this short excerpt. She wanted to sit up and look for Finley, but she was too weak. How many pills had she taken? Cold embraced her, numbed her. Was that why she had come out here? A chance to feel nothing. She closed her eyes. She shouldn't be here. She should go back. But she was tired, bone tired. And the cold began to feel good. She could just roll over, sink into the cold sea, and disappear. And next thing she knows, Frankie has been admitted to the psych ward because she claims she didn't try to commit suicide, but she realizes she's not even sure that's true. So, as terrifying as it is to be admitted for 8 weeks, it's here where Frankie, for the first time in a really, really long time, starts to see the light. It's here where she first learns about PTSD, which back then was actually really controversial. It was a newer term, and they were like, there's this thing that we think is happening with the vets who are coming back. And it's here where Frankie finally finds the support that she needs, because Henry, the man that she tried to love, she even was almost going to have his baby, he happens to run the psych ward, and they have this strange friendship that forms while she's there. And then Frankie also starts to see a psychiatrist named Dr. Alden, and for once, her trauma is actually fucking validated. And when Barb, her best friend, visits her for the first time, maybe ever, they actually talk about what happened to them after the war. This whole time, Frankie thought she was the only person who was haunted by these nightmares. Because again, no one talked about it. They were just keep your head down and move forward. The excerpt reads, Frankie held on to her best friend's hand and listened to her stories, her pain, which was like her own. They talked for hours until night fell slowly around them. The stars came out. She wasn't okay, wasn't even within striking distance of it. But I will be, she thought. And for the first time ever, too, she can talk about her experience in Vietnam with her parents without feeling completely dismissed. Because at this point, her parents are like, we almost lost our other child because of the way we dismissed her. And so...
Wait, a parent being accountable?
Unheard of.
Whoa.
Yeah. So in the psych ward, Frankie finally has to confront how toxic her relationship with Rye Walsh was. And it's really heartbreaking for her. I think there was a line where it says, I thought I was dumb, but I was really just human. And when talking to her psychiatrist, she says, I worry I don't believe in love anymore. But lots of people love you, Frankie, don't they? Dr. Alden had said. She closed her eyes, thought of the best moments of her life, with her dad calling her Peanut and lifting her into the air, her mother holding her tightly while she cried, and Finley teaching her to surf, sharing his secrets, holding her hand. Jamie teaching her to believe in herself, to try. No fear, McGrath. That was a mantra that she would tell herself before entering the operating room. And Barb and Ethel always there for her. Yeah, she said quietly, and let those memories be her shield, her strength, her hope. When Frankie leaves the center, she says her goodbyes to Henry, once a lover, now a dear friend, because it turns out Henry found someone who actually loves him. So she says to him, you'll invite me to your hippy-dippy wedding, right? Of course. You're leaving the center, Frankie, not leaving me. We're friends. You can always call me. She turned to look at him. He sat back in his tufted leather chair, his graying hair pulled back in a loose ponytail. Thank you, she said, for all of it. And this is where she's about to apologize. And he says, love means never having to say you're sorry. Frankie laughed. What a crock of shit. Then again, I'm hardly an expert on love. You know love, Frankie. And so we see Frankie venture out into the world once more. She ends up leaving California entirely, starting a ranch out in Montana, where other women veterans who have been made to feel invisible find a home. At this ranch, quote, they learn to breathe and then to talk, and then, if they were lucky, to hope. This... And this is the part where I say exactly what you said. So this novel was a lot. Really fucking heavy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how else to talk about it other than just talk about the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
You watch Frankie find herself, and it's so beautiful watching her find herself in the midst of something as ugly as this war. So to have her come home, have it all fall apart, and to have to rebuild herself. It's so fucked. And on top of that, to deal with the dismissal and the erasure of being a woman who served. And these were real struggles that women faced. Above all, a lot of the feedback that I saw about this book was how accurate Kristin Hannah's depiction was of all of these women's experiences. So multiple times throughout the novel, Frankie's trying to find solace and purpose in romantic love. As the reader, you want that for her, right? Like, you want that. You want her to find her happily ever after. And you know, there's like glimpses of it. I found myself like, even I was like, okay, Rye, he's back. Fucking scumbag.
Yeah. James Marsden, you asshole.
What? He always plays the asshole.
Okay, I liked him as Lon, though. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would say maybe not always the asshole, but he's always like the guy who never gets the girl.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that being your, like, how you're typecasted. The one who almost wins, but doesn't.
Wait, he got Katherine Heigl.
In what?
27 dresses?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, but I feel like in every other... Anyway. Guys.
It's Valentine's Day after all, okay?
Valentine's Day? Yeah. Okay. So, you know, you want her to find that happily ever after, especially with her tragic fucking life. But as it turns out, sometimes that isn't the love you need. Sometimes what you need is the love of the people who held your hand through the worst of it. The ones who picked you up when you were in pieces. The ones who might not ever fully understand you or your demons, but they try. The ones you quietly share your deepest, darkest nightmares with under a blanket of stars, both of you attempting the impossible task of healing. And towards the end of the novel, Frankie finally starts to look around and think, maybe I do know love. But even beyond that steady love of friendship, Frankie's journey also shows us that what you need most of all is to love yourself. You have to want more for yourself because no one will fight for you the way you fight for yourself. No one will ever have as much of a stake in your life as you do. And you owe it to yourself, your human existence, to find your way back and to remember who you are beneath your pain and your suffering. And that, I think, is Frankie's truest act of bravery. Falling in love and chasing a fairy tale romance, that's easy. Finding solace in your friendships, that's steady, reliable. But loving yourself, the grit it takes, the valiant decision to keep going and keep rooting for yourself, even when it feels impossible, that's the hard part. So thank you, Kristin Hannah, and our dear friend Frankie. The world may have forgotten the women who served in the Vietnam War, their struggles, their bravery, their attempt to heal and find themselves again. But through this book, this valiant act of love, we remember.
It's just like, I can't believe that.
That we wrote the same, that you wrote about a girl writing a screenplay and I wrote about a girl in the Vietnam War, but it was the same story. Yeah. Big fucking surprise. Crybabies, we cannot make this up.
Yeah. No, well, first of all, I have to applaud you for how you were able to put that story together, because I'm sure that was no easy feat. It was like fucking 1,000 pages long.
When I was writing this story, I was like, I think this might be the hardest story I've ever written. I think this is the hardest one I've ever written.
Beautifully done. Like, really, like, thank you for that. It was gripping. You really did paint such a beautiful picture of what I'm sure Kristin Hannah's fucking masterpiece was. It's like in 7th grade when you did a crayon version of Van Gogh's Lilies.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Thank you so much. I'm really proud. That is one of my proudest pieces of art. I think I still have it somewhere.
This is like 2nd.
Thank you. Wow. Wow.
I'd note about this book. I read the synopsis. It was on my list too.
Oh.
And knowing that it's a Kristin Hannah book, for those of you that have never read a Kristin Hannah book, prepare to be completely immersed. She paints such a vivid setting. You literally feel like you are there, but the way she writes is plot, plot, plot. So you don't feel like it's too much. You don't feel like it's too flowery.
Yes.
You just feel like you're watching a movie.
Exactly.
And so when I had read the description, I was like, oh, that sounds really heavy. Oh, that's really going to fuck me up. I would have never guessed that would have been the takeaway.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all of her books are surrounding really strong female heroines. And oftentimes it's very much focused on like the resiliency.
Yes. Yeah.
Of how women can pull themselves through really difficult situations. But at the heart of all of it, it has to be that self-love.
Which makes me wonder if I go back and read a bunch of books that I read in my childhood, am I going to pick up on that theme because that is what is relevant to me in my life right now? Like, is that why is it really the message, or is that what I'm taking away from it? You know what I mean?
I see. Interesting.
I guess I'd have to go back and read every single book I've ever read.
Yeah.
And then come back to you.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that is interesting that where you are also dictates how you perceive the world.
Yeah.
You and me, same person.
We're the same person. We pick the same book. We work with people who also pick the same books.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is about, really.
Yeah. I also loved that part about sharing your feelings. And was it when she was with her friends?
When she was with her friend and they were like finally talking about.
Yes. Like, and actually like finding solace in realizing that someone feels the same way I do. And the warm blanket that you're wrapped around with the moment that someone tells you you're not alone in how you feel. I was like, hello.
No, which is kind of wild that wasn't the practice back then. I remember reading at the end of like part 1 where they're like, just put your head down and like just like move on.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the answer.
Yes.
That's not it. And it's just, I feel like we and our listeners exist in this space where the norm now is to feel the fucking feelings, you know, and like talk about it with the people that you care about and that care about you. Yeah. And like, that's how we move through this world. But back then, that's not how it was.
That's crazy that what we are doing now, which is so wonderful, so loving, so healing, would have been considered radical.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's just so natural.
Yeah. As it should be.
Love that.
Love that for us. Love that for you, crybabies listening. Wow.
Wow.
I want to say thank you again to Young and Julie and anyone who might be listening because of hearing about us through this little collab we did. This was really fun. And it was really different for me because usually I consume content and then it makes me cry. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. This was very much the other way around.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, all right. I think it was a fun exercise for me.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to do more things like this. If you're listening and you have some sort of like organization or, you know, like you're interested in doing some sort of partnership or like collab, hit us up, dude.
Hit us the fuck up.
2026 is just us literally reaching out to anyone and everyone and just having a really good time connecting with people, having really vulnerable conversations with people and just really trying to spread this message, this cry gospel. That feeling your feelings is actually a superpower.
Yeah. Hit our line if you feel the same way.
Yep.
Yeah. We hope that this Valentine's Day is filled with lots of love. Yes, from friends, from partners, from family, but more importantly, for yourself. Be your own damn Valentine, okay?
Be your own Valentine.
And that's all we got.
That's all we fucking got.
Love you.
Love you.
But you love you too.
But you love you.
But you love you. And we'll see you again shortly. Until then.
BRB, crying.